Gabby Duran, and this is my mom.
Hi, my name is Ana Arana.
And I'm going to be asking you some questions about your Catholic life from the past or from right now.
Okay.
Okay. First question is, were you born Catholic or did you become Catholic?
I was born Catholic. Both my parents were Catholics, and when I was born, I was baptized very little as a baby.
Well, who do you think relies more on God in your family? Like your mom, your dad, your brother, or you? Who do you think is the most that prays every day, that is the closest to God? Who do you think?
I would say my mother. She prays a lot. She, before all these times of quarantine and all that,
Yeah.
she would usually go to church and to mass almost every day of the week.
So, knowing that you are Catholic, you have done your baptism, your first communion, your confirmation, all of that. Correct?
Correct.
Yes.
I did all of that. And also holy matrimony.
Yeah. And so whenever you pray, what is your go-to spot that you go to? Because they say that you need to have a really quiet place to pray, or do you just kind of go wherever?
I guess it would be my room at night. And when I'm at work, I use part of my lunch break whenever I remember, or I try to do it every time when during my lunch break in my office, to devote some time for praying and talking to God, pretty much.
Do you know anyone who has a different religion?
Well, yeah, I have some co-workers that practice other kind of Christian beliefs. They practice like they are either Baptists or Methodists. I used to work with people that were Muslims, and I used to know other people that is Jewish.
Yeah. I also have some friends that are Jewish and Muslims too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Have you gone through any hardships that anyone is offending you because of your different religions than them?
Well, every now and then you hear comments about Catholics and things that priests or that have mistakes they have made, and you have to hear a lot about that, and how people generalize that all Catholic people is bad because of what some people did or the mistakes that they made, and that makes me feel sad, because I love being a Catholic and practicing my Catholic faith, and but you also have to respect other people's point of view. I just wish people wouldn't be so sometimes, use their choice of words and stuff, because not everybody should be bad just because one person is bad or made a mistake. So yeah, sometimes it's not very often, because we now live in a world where we try to respect each other and their opinions. But yeah, you encounter people who would say uncomfortable things about your faith and your beliefs.
Has any miracle ever happened to you in your life? Or your family members or anything? like that?
Well, there was one time where I had a problem with my uh, with my uterus, which is where babies grow, and so I had to go to several checkups, and the doctor was fearing that I might have some cancerous cells, so they had to do a lot of treatments over a course of probably 3 years, and I had to go to checkups, and it was fine. But at some point, the doctor got a little bit worried, and he said he had to do a different procedure, and he was kind of like warning me the results cannot be very favorable. So my mom got very worried, and my mom lives in Colombia, and this was when I was doing my master's in Miami. So we were apart, and I told her what happened. We always have had a very good relationship, and I tell her everything. And so she got a little bit worried, and she said, well, everything's going to be all right. I'm going to pray that you get better. So she talked to all her friends, and they all did a lot of prayer together and apart, and they said, okay, we're going to do this prayer every day for 9 days or stuff like that. So sure enough, when it was my time to go back to this second diagnostics, the doctor checked me up, and I had nothing. I was completely cured.
Wow, that's really amazing.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So that was very powerful, and my mom and I are convinced that it was the work of God, you know.
Have any of your family members ever, like your dad or any of the guys in your family, ever thought about being a priest or any member like that?
My brother, when he was little, he thought about it, but then he abandoned the idea and decided to. But it was when he was a kid, and like when kids said, "Oh, I want to be a fireman," or "I want to be police," and then they forget about all that. He wanted to be a priest, and he was very close to the church, and he would help the priest and all that. But then his interests changed, and he decided to do something else.
So, what do you believe happens whenever people go to heaven and when they pass away? What do you believe happens?
What I believe is, if people are in peace with themselves and with God, and they have confessed and repented, they still go through a little time where they need to clean themselves a little bit and their souls, and then they go to heaven. And depending on how well they've lived their lives and how well they've lived their faith, that would be the time that they would have to spend cleaning themselves before they join God in heaven. But I always think that their essence remain very close to us and in our memories and in our heart.
So, we are almost finished.
Okay.
But I would like to ask you that it's almost the same question that I've asked you before, but how do you feel? Like, what in your mind do you say whenever people do say bad things about, I don't know, God or maybe you for believing in the Catholic knowledge?
Well, what I say, my first response always would be, tell myself, you need to be respectful from the other person and their beliefs. So I would say, I respect your opinion, but I truly believe what I profess and what I say, and I truly believe in God, and I have been witness in my life and all the miracles that have happened to me, that God is real and that He's with me all the time, and the things we do as a family and in the church and individually when we pray or talk to God. I believe in all this communication, and I believe God is present there every time. So I would tell the other person, you can believe whatever you want. Nothing that you say is gonna change my mind. And I truly, really hope that you would see the way I see them, because my life is so much better because of it.
That's a really good answer.
Yeah.
I think next time someone says that to me, I'll probably say the same thing.
Yeah. You should always defend your faith and always be respectful, of course. But yeah. And be brave and defend Jesus and what you believe.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing with me today.
Sure. Anytime. I'm glad I could help. And I hope you learn a little bit.
Yes, I sure did.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.